Hello friends, now welcome to our next video. Now in this video we will talk about attributes. In the previous video we saw how to use custom style sheet. Now in this video we will talk a bit about attributes. Attributes can be used for various purposes and we will see how we can use it for multiplying two numbers here. So again I will click on my name and open developer console from here. Okay, so we already have our component. We can use the same component from here. I will get rid of this and give it some space. Let me also increase the size. Okay, now to define attribute in Lightning Experience, what we have a namespace or a colon attribute. Now we need to specify some properties to attribute. There are two mandatory properties. One is name. So let's say we name our first attribute as A1, and another important or mandatory property is type. So if you want to store a number, so we will define it as an integer. Okay. Now if you want to specify a default value, let's say no one has provided any value, you can even go ahead and provide a default value. Let's say I provide a default value as 15. Okay, and I will close my tag here. Similarly, we can again specify another attribute. So instead of typing, we will simply copy and paste this, and let's name this A2. Again, type it integer. Let's say I give it a default value 30. If you don't want to give a default value, that's okay. Then what we want to do, we want to multiply these two numbers. So let's say I define an attribute and name is multiply, and type again would be integer. Okay, so what we have done here, we have defined three attributes here. Two are of the values which we will be using, and the third one is the multiply, which will give us the output. Okay, now let's say you want to print these values on the screen. So how do we do that? For that, we need to use an expression. You know, in Salesforce, everything is bounded by exclamation mark and curly brace, even in formulas, or if we need to reference any field, API name and everything. So that is bounded by curly brace and exclamation mark. So in this, we want to display this on screen, you need to use V. V is a vector by default and dot A1. So what this will do, this will print the value of A1 on screen. So let's say I go ahead and save it, and again in my app I have already referenced L2 component, LC2 component. So if I go to LA app, so we can see LC2 component is already referenced there. So let's say I go ahead and click on preview. Hello there and 15. Hello there is coming from the other app, the other component, LC component. Okay, so we have hello there. So if what we can do, we can simply remove this reference from here. Okay, and save it. And now if we go ahead and refresh, hello there is gone, only 15 is here. You can see this. Similarly, what we can do, we can print the other number as well. So we go to lc2.cmp, our component, and let's say we want to multiply these two. So colon V, this we already know, dot A2. Save it, refresh our page. See, 15 into 30, it has printed it directly. It has not done any multiplication because we have not created any function, or we have not stored the value of multiplication anywhere. Even if you go ahead and let's say if you type in here V dot, our name of the function attribute was multiply. So what this will do, see, unexpected token. Okay, this was my mistake. And if I go ahead, it will give you a blank. There will be no result at all because we have defined multiply, but we have not told it that what this multiply will do. Now, like in JavaScript, let's say you want to create a button, and on click of that button you want to multiply this. So in Salesforce Enlightening Experience, to define a button, you need to use a namespace UI, user interface, because button will be a UI component, button. This is how we define a button here. Then the button should have a label. So to multiply, click me. Okay, so this will be label. And if I simply save this here, and then if I refresh my page, see, I have a button here, but if I click on this, nothing is happening because we have not told the button to do anything. Okay, the button is here. So what we can do, on press, like in JavaScript we have on click, so here we can simply type press. So when someone press the button, please call the function C. So to call a function, we need to use the namespace C dot. Let's say we have created a function by name mul. Okay, and here I save it. So what we are doing here, on click of this button, on pressing this button, we are calling a function mul, which we would have been defined somewhere, but right now the function has not been defined. If I refresh the page and if I click on this, it will give me an error. Unknown controller action mul. You see, it is undefined. We have not defined. See, failed descriptor UI button controller press. So we have not defined the button anywhere, the function anywhere. So for that, what we can do, we can define this function in our controller. Okay, so till now what we have seen, how to create or declare an attribute, the syntax for that, the default values which we need to provide, the mandatory values, I will say, name and type. Then if you need to give a default value, you can use default here, and how to display those values, how to create a button, and then how to call a function on click of that button. Now we will see how to define the function in our next video. Okay.